Hello, and welcome back to Blood for Flowers by M.C.McNeel. That's me. So come with me now on a journey through time and space as we go back to ancient Greece. And again, if you'd like to catch up with all these stories, you can go back here to my YouTube channel, M.C.McNeel. On YouTube, please like and subscribe to show me that you care. Show me that you love me and that we belong together. All right, getting back to the story. So we're back in ancient Greece, 380 BC, going to chapter 17. The king of Sparta said his goodbyes to all the ladies. Then he went over to Thera to shake her hand farewell and to wish her luck with Admiral Vasha. Thera took his hand but averted her gaze as not to look Viacles directly in the eyes, lest she lose all courage to breed with Vasha. Viacles felt her discomfort in this matter, so he quickly made his departure. Even though this brought a great pain to his heart and jealous thoughts to his mind. Now, shortly thereafter, Thera sat back at the table with Vasha, as the rest of the group dispersed off to the lake for a swim, or to help clear away the dishes and clean up after the feast, which Thera was surprised to see a few of the men of Sparta assisting the ladies in this chore. She sighed sweetly, giving Vasha a luminous look of happiness as she unhooked the little gold statue from her belt, placing it on the table in front of him. Vasha was extremely pleased by this gesture, and he picked up the small golden treasure in his hand. He had heard of these tokens of love by his men. The archers gave out little golden coiled snakes. The members of the phalanx gave out a little golden bull. The cavalry, of course, their symbol was a horse. However, Thera's was a little golden lion, a symbol only afforded to the royal house of Themyscira. Now Vasha held the one and only little lion statue in the palm of his hand as he smiled at Thera, kissing her cheek sweetly. Now, Admiral, if you will allow me but a moment to prepare my bed and my body to receive you, come to me in my tent in just a little while, she said as she gave him a soft, warm kiss on the mouth, as Amara and Lexa escorted her back to her tent under the full sweet blossoms of the cherry trees. In her tent, under a canopy of bright stars and the sliver of the waning moon, Amara and Lexa set out about preparing their dear friend and leader for the act. They combed out her long red hair, stripped her naked body, and rubbed an aromatic lotion of acacia, lemon zest, and olive oil into her supple skin. Thera applied the balm of peppermint, honey, and beeswax to her lips. As the oil lamps were dimmed in her room, Amara took out a small dagger and went out, returning with a few branches of the cherry tree, which she placed in a vase of water. The fragrant blossoms filled the air with the sweet scent of nature. Thera reclined back in her bed atop the clean white silk sheets, to which Lexa and Amaro scattered handfuls of pink and white cherry blossoms. They carefully combed Thera's shiny, silky hair down around her shoulders in a cascade of soft chestnut. There, in the golden flickering light of the oil lamps, she looked like Aphrodite resting upon a bed of flowers. Thera bade the women to leave her in peace, thanking them for their efforts. Amara and Lexa both gave their dear friend an excited, loving smile, and then they departed. Thera lay there for what seemed an eternity before she heard Vasha approach. And the excitement raging through Vasha's heart at this point in time was unrivaled by any deed he had committed in his life. Not even the thrill of watching your enemy die at the end of your sword was exciting and enticing as this moment. Now, as he held tight to the little statue in his left hand, He reached up with his right to open the tent when he heard a familiar voice calling his name. Admiral Vasha, came the voice of King Viacles. Vasha said not a word as he turned, startled, and he dropped the little statue of the lion from his hand as he came eye to eye with his great king. He knew now Thera would never be his, that he would never be permitted to come into her. Vasha knew and understood this by the determined look in the eyes of the king. Here Vasha's mighty heart sank and saddened, for he knew the wishes of his king would supersede any of his own desire to breed. Oh man, Vasha just can't catch a break. All right, let's see what happens next. Okay. Okay. My hair looks kind of weird. All right, one second. So, Vasha's just trying to get a little something. King got there first. Thera heard hushed voices outside her tent, yet she did not move from her bed as the voices continued. The king of Sparta spoke to Admiral Vasha, telling all of what had transpired the night before. Vasha was disheartened, but not surprised. Vi confessed to his old friend he must have an heir, and he would do this by any means necessary, even if that meant betraying his wife. Here Vasha swore his allegiance to his king and vowed to keep this affair a secret, out of unity, loyalty, respect, and honor, which was very common in the ancient world and less common now in these modern times. I digress. Should she bring forth a son, I will raise him as my own, Vasha said, shaking the king's hand as he placed the little lion statue in the palm of Vi's hand. I will leave a letter telling of these events, so he shall be made king at the time of my passing. The two men promised this to one another as Vi went into Thera, as Vasha remained outside, keeping his eyes open, making sure no one could follow the king inside. Thera lay there in the flowers, her long cascade of hair covering her breasts, as she stared in amazement at the sight of Viacles, who stripped off his crimson robe, standing naked before her. I have come again for you, Thera. He smiled brightly as he beheld her, and he inhaled the intoxicating scent of the cherry blossoms there in the flickering light. Vi held out the little statue for her to see. Thera found no words could be ushered forth from her mouth until she managed to speak, saying, You would have me dishonor my promise to a king? She said, shocked to see him there, for she had indeed promised to take Vasha into her bed and forget all about King Viacles. I am the king now here in this land, and I command you to break your promise. Please, let me come into you again. What of your admiral? She asked, intrigued. He waits outside, keeping watch, for these things we do can only be achieved in secret. Will you take me into your bed again, into yourself? Viacles asked as he drew closer to her. Thera's heart raced with a deep passion coursing through her veins as she raised up in the bed on her knees as the great king embraced her, kissing her fully on the mouth. So it was, the two came together once more, as poor Vasha stood at the closed door listening to the sounds of ecstasy issuing forth from the darkened chamber. He sighed, wishing he were in there with Thera, and the king was home with the queen. Yet Vasha was an honorable, noble man, and he would gladly give up his life in protection of the king. So the passion of a woman was but a small sacrifice he could give up to show his loyalty to King Viocles. Okay, and that's going to be end of chapter 17. I hope you guys like this. It's going to get crazy. The other stories are just, I took a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of energy. I love to write. It's the only passion I have in life. It's the only thing I care about. So, again, please like and subscribe me at M.C.McNeel YouTube. And remember, take care of yourself because nobody else will.